From popcorn stand to millionaire's choice, the shocking moment that changed everything forever, the air crackled with excitement, the kind that sends shivers down your spine. Jamie stood there, popcorn in hand, eyes wide as the crowd erupted with feverish cheers. Every single person in the front row stared, mouths agape, as if they'd witnessed the unthinkable. A lone figure, dark suit, sunglasses, the whole mystery package had just strolled onto the stage, and it felt like time itself had stopped. Who was this man? What did he want? In that moment, the ordinary popcorn stand morphed into a scene from a blockbuster movie. The colors whirled vividly in Jamie's mind, a swirl of bright yellow popcorn, glistening under the electric lights, contrasting against the deep black of the stranger's suit. It felt unreal, like they were part of some twisted fairy tale. The whispers swept through the crowd. Is he a scout? A scam artist? A billionaire in disguise? Just then, the stranger lifted a hand. Silence fell like a heavy curtain. Every heart raced, every breath held. He leaned into the mic, and the world seemed to spin. I'm here to make one lucky person a millionaire. His words hung in the air, a potent mix of intrigue and dread. What was the catch? A lump formed in Jamie's throat. All eyes were locked on the stage, including Jamie's, thrumming with an exhilaration that tinged the moment with fear. Then came the twist. Instead of a random drawing, the man pointed straight at Jamie. The crowd gasped, disbelief rippling through them like a wave. You! He called out, with a voice that sliced through the air like a knife. Jamie's heart raced, pounding against their ribcage like a caged animal desperate for escape. Yes, you with the popcorn. Do you desire a chance to transform your life? At that moment, Jamie's insides twisted in a whirlwind of emotions: thrill, terror, astonishment. Was this a joke? A chance or a trap? The crowd murmured, faces echoing a mixture of envy and disbelief. It felt like stepping into the spotlight amidst shadows, where every gaze fell upon them heavy with judgment. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The man stepped closer, his presence casting a shadow over Jamie, whose mind raced. What kind of game was this? A sick trick? Or a genuine opportunity? Jamie felt the sweat bead on their brow, a tight chest suffocating what little calm remained. Eyes squinted, searching the man's expression for a hint of truth or deception. He just smiled, a chilling grin that sent another wave of fear rippling through the crowd. Will you take the risk? The question echoed in the stillness. The choice hung in the air like a fork in the road, one path leading to unimaginable wealth, the other to crushing regret. Jamie's breath hitched. Every nerve screamed for the chance, yet caution held them back. This moment could become a tale of dreams or despair. And then, with a deceptively calm voice, Jamie gasped, "What do I have to do?" As the world held its breath, the stranger pulled out an ancient-looking coin, glimmering under the bright lights, a token of fate. What lay ahead? Would Jamie seize this wild opportunity, or would the shadows consume them? The true story had only just begun. Jamie's heart raced like a runaway train. The ancient coin sparkled, catching the stage lights and casting faint reflections that danced across the mesmerized faces in the crowd. It felt like a moment pulled from a dream, one that could twist into a nightmare at any instant. An age-old test, the man said, his voice low and hypnotic. This coin has been passed through many hands, each with a story, each with a choice. To win the million, you must turn it just once in the air. What happens if I lose? Jamie asked, trying to mask the tremor in their voice. The man's grin widened, revealing a flash of something, perhaps malice. Ah, that's the rub. Lose, and you might find yourself back at square one, or worse. A wave of whispers swept through the crowd like a gust of wind. What does that mean? Someone murmured. Jamie glanced around, nervous eyes meeting the looks of anticipation mixed with dread from fellow onlookers. Did these people understand what was at stake? Could they see the lines of fear playing out across Jamie's face? The weight of their decision loomed larger. The stakes felt almost supernatural, like a game rigged against them. Take the leap, the stranger prompted, tilting his head. Or walk away and return to the life you know, with no more than popcorn dreams. Each word struck like a drumbeat in Jamie's chest. Jamie stood rooted to the spot, the pressure of choices closing in. The coin shimmered with a promise that both dazzled and terrified. With one flip, could they turn everything around? What would their life look like in the light of that vast wealth? Yet the thought of returning to the mundane life filled with regret felt unbearable. Suddenly a voice cut through the tension. Do it, Jamie. It was Sam, their best friend from the crowd, eyes wide with encouragement. You've always wanted more. Something inside Jamie flickered an ember of hope, resilience. They raised a trembling hand, reaching for the coin, their fingers brushing against its cool surface. The moment felt electric, charged with infinite possibilities. Bring it back to me, the man said, as his eyes sparkled in a sinister way, and a fortune shall be yours. But if the drop turns bad, his words trailed off, leaving the chilling void to echo. Jamie took a deep breath, feeling the crowd's intensity swirl around them. The pressure was thick. Could they really do this? The coin felt heavier than any expectation placed on their shoulders. With a sudden determination, Jamie tossed the coin high into the air. It spun, glinting against the stark stage lights, as silence swallowed the crowd whole. Time stretched, seconds turned into eternity. Jamie held their breath. Would this moment bring them everything they desired or drag them into the depths of despair? The coin glided, twinkled, then plummeted back down. Jamie's heart seized in their chest. The world dimmed as they instinctively extended their hands, but as the coin fell, the crowd gasped. What came next would rewrite everything Jamie thought they knew. Would the coin land on fortune or doom? Would it reveal a new path or plunge them into chaos? In an instant, all could change forever. The coin's descent felt like the world was holding its breath. Jamie's hands trembled as they reached out, fingers spread wide, desperate to catch their fate. A distant cheer melded with jagged gasps, a chaotic symphony that thrummed through the air. Then, time snapped back into focus. The coin hit Jamie's palm with a solid thud, and for a heartbeat, all was silence. Adrenaline pulsed through every vein, a rush of exhilaration paired with the weight of reality. Jamie opened their hands slowly, almost reverently. The coin lay flat, gleaming in the light, displaying the image of a fierce beast on one side and a delicate phoenix on the other. The choice was clear. Did I win? Jamie's voice cracked as confusion set in. For a moment, applause erupted from the crowd, but the energy morphed into whispers of uncertainty. No, the man stepped from the shadows of the stage. His grin twisted into something darker. You don't just win by catching the coin, dear Jamie. You must choose. Jamie searched the faces surrounding them. A whirlwind of excitement and dread, anticipation flickered in the air. If I choose the beast, I gain the wealth. The light of riches will shine, but at what cost? Jamie whispered, their mind racing. But if I choose the phoenix, I've missed the chance for everything I've ever wanted. The crowd leaned in, eyes hungry for resolution, breath held tight. Choose wisely, the man warned, stepping closer. The coin knows what you truly desire. Fate waits for no one, and the longer you linger in this moment, the greater the price. A chill sliced through Jamie. What did that mean? They fought the urge to glance at Sam, instead locking eyes with the coin. A dreadful sense washed over Jamie as realization dawned. Choosing wealth could mean turning their back on everything that mattered, like Sam's supportive presence with all it represented. Do you believe in change? Jamie's voice trembled as they asked the crowd, uncertainty threading through their words. Can I still have what's valuable if I let go of what's familiar? A murmur rippled through the audience. Choose the beast. Someone shouted from the back, followed by a chorus of eager nods. Fortune, Jamie. You can make it. You don't know what lies beneath that choice, Sam said, stepping closer, a hint of panic flashing in their eyes. We've been dreaming together, remember? Reality tangled in the air. Jamie felt the coin's pull, almost echoing their heartbeat, and weighed the choices before them. The rich allure of gold glittered brightly, while the promise of renewal and rebirth danced in the dusk. With so much at stake, the stakes seemed to vibrate through the air, twisting and turning. Tick-tock, dear Jamie, the man grinned, his eyes filled with a dangerous glimmer. Time waits for no one, but make your choice now, or forfeit the right to choose it all. A silence punctuated the tension, and Jamie realized their instinct was battling with ambition. Choices were meant to define, not to destroy. As the stakes climbed, Jamie's heart throbbed louder than ever. Jamie! Sam called intensely, pulling their gaze back to the real world. You have to decide. With their breath caught in their throat and 100,000 thoughts racing, Jamie saw the paths each choice could lead to. What did they truly want? Wealth, success, or something deeper, more meaningful? And just like that, Jamie faced a precipice. Would they leap into the world of wealth or embrace the life of rebirth? What lay in each choice? Time slipped away as Jamie's mind churned, mapping out the future, teetering on the edge of something enigmatic. Choose. The air thickened with lingering uncertainty, punctuated by the man's voice, a siren call mingling with the echoes of a price yet to be discovered. And then it hit Jamie. The spirit of the phoenix whispered loud in the silence, a flicker of hope. Was it truly better the second time around? The choice hung heavier than the coin itself. Now! The voice rang out, an ominous command, leaving Jamie grasping for clarity in a storm of chaos. What would they ultimately decide, and could it unlock a path they never expected? Every heartbeat felt like thunder in Jamie's chest. The man's voice resonated in Jamie's mind, a relentless drumroll building to a climax. The weight of the coin turned heavier, the ghost of its possibilities teasing at the edges of Jamie's imagination. Time's running out. Someone shouted from behind. An urgency swept through the crowd, their cheers morphing into an anxious chorus, each voice twisting Jamie's thoughts tighter. Think, Jamie. Sam squeezed Jamie's arm, grounding them amidst the tumult. You've worked so hard for your dreams. You can't just throw it all away. Jamie's throat felt dry, like they were swallowing shards of glass. The beast's gilded promise dangled before their eyes, all glimmering gold and unattainable luxury, while the phoenix flared with warmth, offering rebirth, love, and healing. Both sides beckoned, a duality that twisted fate into knots. I can't do this. Jamie's voice cracked, panic rising like bile. The elements felt alive, swirling with tension. The spectators' resolve seemed to ignite more heat, more pressure. Choose the beast! Shouted another voice, closer this time. Think of the freedom. The power. The man from the stage leaned forward, a predatory glint in his eyes. Jamie felt small under his gaze. Every choice has consequences, my dear. What if the wealth comes at the cost of those you love? What do you mean? Jamie's heart raced. Those who prioritize gold often find themselves, at last, alone. Dread gripped Jamie as they glanced at Sam, a tangled knot of emotion spinning inside. What if embracing riches meant losing Sam? Entering a world of glamour yet void of genuine connection? What remained then? Suddenly, the echoes of laughter faded, replaced by whispers of vulnerability, their essence mingling with the weight of the coin. The world doesn't hold you, Sam urged, fierce eyes locked on Jamie's. You hold the world. But don't lose yourself in the chase. The phoenix, it means you rise again. You can't betray that. Jamie's fingers trembled around the coin, every whispering second demanding a decision. But what if I choose wrong? The crowd shifted, a living pulse of anxiety, each person caught in a moment suspended in time. The stakes climbed higher, a buzzing desperation filled the air. Do you want a life filled with things or a life filled with meaning? Sam pressed, breathless. The man chuckled darkly, his silhouette casting a long shadow across the stage. Time, dear Jamie, is slipping away. Choose. Jamie took a breath, and for the first time, the air felt clear despite the chaos around them. What mattered most became a piercing clarity in the turmoil of emotion. I won fall for the illusion of wealth. Jamie cried out, adrenaline surging through them like wildfire. I choose the phoenix. Gasps rippled across the audience, and Jamie squeezed their eyes shut, hoping they wouldn't regret the choice. Slowly, Jamie extended their hand, ready to turn the coin towards the phoenix, to ignite the flames of rebirth despite the fear clawing at their insides, but as they did, an unnatural wind kicked up around them. Jamie's skin prickled, the air thick with electricity. The man's laughter echoed, deep and unsettling, growing louder as shadows danced in the corners of perception. You've made your choice, but it comes with a twist, my dear. What was happening? Jamie opened their eyes, a rush of confusion crashing over them. With a lurching sensation, the stage warped, blurring around the corners of reality itself. The whispers in the crowd turned frantic, voices blending into an indistinguishable roar. Light and darkness intertwined, slipping away like sand through their fingers. Jamie! Sam shouted, panic rising. Hold on. A wrenching pull left Jamie gut-punched, a spiraling sensation dragging them into an unknown void. The images of the beast and phoenix blurred and twisted, battling for dominance even as their feet lifted from solid ground, and then, with a sudden jolt, the world twisted into an overwhelming vision, one that seared itself into their mind. What awaited them on the other side? Turning point or downfall? The stakes had shifted, and the question hung heavy in the air. What lay ahead, awaiting Jamie in this strange, shifting reality? The sensation of falling turned into a surge, dragging Jamie through a whirlwind of colors and sounds. Each moment felt like it stretched for eternity, the pull growing more intense, as if the very fabric of their reality was being ripped apart. When the chaotic ride finally ended, Jamie collapsed to the ground. It was soft. So soft, in fact, that Jamie instinctively reached out, fingers digging into the grass beneath them. The scent of earth and wildflowers washed over, a stark contrast to the metallic tang of the stage they had just left behind. As Jamie blinked against the bright sun, the landscape unfurled around them like a canvas painted with vibrant hues. Field stretched infinitely, interrupted only by the outline of a distant forest. A gentle breeze whispered secrets through the grass, and yet, there was an underlying tension, like the calm before a storm. Jamie! A voice cut through the tranquility like a jagged knife. Sam emerged from the edge of the forest, face flushed with urgency. You're okay. Relief washed over their expression, quickly replaced by confusion. But where are we? Jamie struggled to their feet, heart racing. I don't know. It feels real, but they turned, scanning their surroundings. This can't be right. We were just Sam held a finger to their lips, eyes darting back toward the trees. Something's wrong. I felt it before, a darkness lurking. Chills crept up Jamie's spine. Why was everything so peaceful, yet their hearts were thundering with dread? Suddenly, the forest seemed to shudder with life, shadows twisting like fingers reaching for them. An ominous growl emerged from the depths of the trees, reverberating against Jamie's chest, swelling into a roar that echoed off the hills and sent birds fleeing from their nests. What was that? Jamie gasped. Whatever it is, we should move. Now. Sam grabbed Jamie's hand, urging them forward. They sprinted across the grassy expanse, driven by instinct. The forest loomed closer, its dark silhouette a reminder of the uncertainty that loomed behind them. As they reached the edge of the woods, a figure loomed. Tall and cloaked, it was shrouded in an aura of darkness that twisted and turned like smoke. The figure raised its head, revealing glowing eyes that seemed to pierce right through Jamie's soul. "You've chosen the phoenix," it hissed, voice low and haunting. "You think that choice shields you from the beast's wrath?" Jamie's heartbeat surged, fear flooding their veins. "What do you want from us?" they demanded, trying to sound brave despite the tremor in their voice. "What I want is irrelevant." The figure's laugh rumbled like thunder. "What matters is what you will become. Power has a price, and dear Jamie, you're about to discover just how much." Before Jamie could respond, the ground beneath them trembled violently, cracks spiderwebbing across the earth. The wind whipped around them like a living thing, roaring with an unholy fury. Sam grabbed Jamie's arm, eyes wide with terror. "Stay close," Sam shouted, and they pressed into the safety of the forest together, but as they ran, the shadows behind them began to take shape, morphing into things both familiar and terrifying, faces they couldn't quite recognize, yet felt intrinsically bound to. "Jamie, look out!" Sam cried, yanking Jamie to the side just as a distorted figure lunged for them. Heart racing, Jamie barely managed to twist away, but the figure caught their shirt, pulling hard. With a gasp, Jamie felt themselves being tugged back, leaving Sam's grasp. "No!" Sam shouted, reaching out. Everything seemed to slow as Jamie's hand slipped from Sam's grip. Fear turned to panic. "Sam!" But the darkness swallowed Jamie whole. The shadows whispered, sharp and bitter, echoing with an ancient hunger. In that moment, Jamie understood. The choice had unleashed something far more potent than they could have ever anticipated. What had they signed up for? As the darkness closed in, Jamie's vision flickered, and a voice, the man from the stage, drifted into their mind, haunting yet compelling. "Welcome to the true game, Jamie. This is only the beginning." And in that dark embrace, Jamie realized, they were caught between worlds, with stakes higher than ever. What had they unleashed? All they could do was fight, anew in a reality that felt more dangerous than before, and hold on to the hope that escaping the shadows was still possible. Jamie fell into unfathomable darkness. A whirlwind of whispers surrounded them, the shadows suffocating. Faces floated just out of reach in the murk, their mouths moving but their voices drowned out by the chaotic hum. Everything swirled, a tempest of emotions and fears tightening around Jamie like an invisible vice. "Jamie!" A voice cut through the haze. "Sam's?" In the depths of despair, a flicker of hope ignited within. Jamie concentrated, pushing against the shadows, fighting to rise. With a jolt, the darkness released its hold, and Jamie collapsed onto a damp forest floor, gasping for air. The surroundings were starkly different. Twisted trees loomed overhead, their gnarled branches interlocking like skeletal hands. The air was thick with humidity, each breath a struggle. Jamie's heart raced as they scanned their surroundings. The figures that had haunted them in the dark felt close, lurking just beyond sight. "Sam!" they called, forcing strength into their trembling voice. As Jamie pushed up onto their hands and knees, adrenaline surged through their body. From behind a nearby trunk, Sam emerged, eyes wide with relief. "Thank goodness. I thought I lost you." "What happened?" Jamie managed between gasps. "Where are we?" "I have no idea." Sam shook their head, brow furrowing with concern. "It's like we've been dropped into another world." Caution crept into their hearts just as the distant growling began to rise again, a deep, resonating sound that made the ground tremble beneath them. "Listen," Sam whispered, eyes darting to the shadows. "We need to keep moving. That sound, it's getting closer." Jamie nodded, anxiety knotting their stomach, and they started to back away from the tree line. With every step, the growl morphed into something more haunting, a chorus of wails and howls weaving through the dense underbrush. Panic surged. They couldn't just stand and wait to be caught. Over there. Sam pointed toward a narrow path that twisted deeper into the trees. We have to take that. They bolted forward, hearts hammering. The path was treacherous, roots snagged at their feet, and low branches scraped against their skin. But they pushed on, fueled by fear and the need to escape whatever was chasing them. As they plunged deeper, the air shifted. The scent of decay mingled with the dampness and rotting leaves, striking a primal fear in Jamie. A figure flitted between trees, quick, torn between the shadows. Was it real, or just a trick of their minds? Did you see that? Jamie shouted, almost tripping over a snagged root. Yeah. Keep moving. Sam urged, not looking back. The growl crescendoed into a horrifying roar, a sound that echoed off the trees like a death knell. A flash of claws struck out through the underbrush, silvery and sharp. Run! Sam commanded, and they sprinted, but Jamie felt something cold latch onto their ankle, bringing them crashing down. No! They screamed, desperately clawing at the earth. Fear flooded their limbs, paralyzing for the briefest moment, the shadows closing in once again. In the chaos, Jamie looked back. A massive figure loomed, its glowing eyes fixed on them with an ancient malice. It was the embodiment of everything they had left behind, the darkness they thought they could escape. Sam! Help! Jamie shrieked, feeling the grip tighten, but then, amidst the terror, a revelation struck: the creature didn't want to kill them. It wanted to consume their fear, their essence. Jamie! Sam's voice echoed through the madness. Summoning strength, Jamie clawed free from the binding shadows, pushing to their feet once more. They didn't just want to survive, they needed to gain control of this new reality. With Sam by their side, they sped down the path. Heart pounding, a thought clawed its way to the forefront of Jamie's mind: what if this darkness was tied to the choice they had made, the phoenix, the beast? What were they truly capable of? The truth was there, lurking behind the growls. Now more than ever, they needed to confront the revelations waiting for them ahead. What had the figure meant by what you will become? And as the shadows surged behind them, Jamie realized that what they would become might just be the only thing that could save them from the darkness, or unleash it. Every heartbeat echoed with a chilling question: could they tame the beast, or would it devour them whole? Branches whipped against Jamie's arms as they and Sam barreled down the narrow path. Their breath burned in their lungs, the air thickening with every panicked inhale. The growling behind them morphed into a monstrous symphony of rage and desperation, echoing through the trees like a warrior's war chant. Don't look back. Just run. Sam shouted, his voice strained but firm. Jamie focused on the path ahead, determination surging through them. They pushed aside the dread that clawed at their mind, forcing it down into the pit of their stomach. They couldn't afford to be afraid, not now. Not when they might have the power to confront this darkness. But then a flash of something, a flicker of movement in the shadows, made Jamie stumble. Were the creatures hunting them, or were they part of the realm they had entered? Each step felt as if it could lead to salvation or doom. Sam, Jamie gasped, what if we can't escape? What if? Stop. Don't think about that. Sam cut in sharply. We will escape. We just need to keep moving. Their hearts raced as they plunged deeper into the undergrowth, the growling becoming a relentless pulse behind them. Jamie felt a sudden surge of anger rise within them. What do you want from us? They screamed into the darkness. An unsettling silence hung for a heartbeat, and then an answering growl erupted, primal and guttural. Something stirred within that growl, a voice deep and ominous. It is not what we want, it is what you fear. It resonated, the words slithering through the air, chilling Jamie to the bone. Jamie, keep going. Please. Sam urged, pulling on Jamie's arm. They rushed forward, but something crashed through the foliage behind them, a blur of dark fur and elongated jaws. It leapt, a shadow bridging the space as it lunged. Without thinking, Jamie turned to face the creature. They wouldn't be a victim this time. The anger that had flared ignited something else, something powerful coursing through their veins. As the creature closed in, a surge of light exploded from Jamie's core, blinding and sharp. It enveloped the space, illuminating the twisted path and revealing distorted figures lurking in the corners of their vision. The growl faltered, suddenly replaced by a cacophony of terrified cries from the shadows. "What is that?" Sam's eyes widened, astonished. "I don't know," Jamie breathed, stunned by their own power. It pulsed with energy, a desperate need to protect. Was this what the creature wanted? Had they unleashed something within themselves that had been waiting to break free? The massive figure recoiled from the light, its glowing eyes dimming as it stumbled back into the trees. Jamie sensed a shift in the air, as if the new strength they had uncorked disrupted some ancient balance. "Come on." Sam pulled Jamie forward again, his grip firm and confident. "Whatever that was, we need to use it." With renewed determination, Jamie kept pushing, channeling the light, forcing it to flow through them. The forest seemed to respond, the whispers in the wind turning from sinister to something almost resolute, but that brief moment of triumph vanished as they reached a clearing, their feet skidding to a halt. In its center stood a massive stone altar, adorned with carvings that glimmered in the fading light. The growling grew jagged again, a low rumble, but now it seemed intimidated. "What is this place?" Jamie whispered, dread creeping back. "I think it might be a sacrificial altar," Sam replied, scanning the markings, the air thick with foreboding. "But for what?" As Jamie stepped closer, the altar began to pulse, resonating with their light, each heartbeat a call, beckoning them forward. Could this be the answer to their fears? Or was it a trap, an offer from the darkness that had chased them? Suddenly, the shadows broke free, flooding the clearing, twisted faces bearing haunting expressions. They were no longer just creatures, they were reflections of Jamie's own fears, doubts clinging to their every thought. The growls turned to screams, piercing through the night. "Jamie!" Sam shouted, panic rising in his tone. "What do we do?" In that moment, Jamie understood. They had the power not just to confront the darkness, but to reshape it entirely. Could they truly face what had haunted them? What would that mean for them? The altar's glow intensified, the shadows merging and swirling as if awaiting a choice, and then Jamie heard it, loud and clear: "What will you become?" The chilling question hung in the air, suspended in uncertainty. Would they choose to accept the power within, or succumb to the shadows? As the darkness surged forward, Jamie's heart thundered against their chest. They had to decide fast. What could possibly await them if they chose to engage? Could facing their fears lead to salvation? Or would it unleash something far beyond their understanding? Jamie's mind raced as the shadows swirled and writhed, desperate hands stretching toward them, grasping at the edges of their reality. The altar pulsed like a heartbeat beneath their feet, demanding attention, a portal of possibilities. Fear coiled tightly in their chest, threatening to paralyze them, but the light within flickered defiantly, an ember in the storm. "Sam!" Jamie shouted, their voice cutting through the chaos. "What do we do? There are fears. We can't let them take us. They can't control you unless you let them." Sam yelled back, his eyes fierce and resolute. "You're stronger than this." Gripping Sam's hand, Jamie felt the warmth radiating from the altar seep into their skin. "But I can't just trust yourself," Sam insisted, his face a mask of sincerity. "Let that light guide you. Let it be your anchor." A growl reverberated through the clearing, louder now, an almost tangible roar. Jamie felt the weight of the darkness behind them, a relentless tide pushing against barriers of hope. They shut their eyes briefly, exhaling deeply, as fragments of their fears collided in a tumultuous storm. What if they failed? What if embracing this power only destroyed them? Choose. The shadows hissed, their voices merging into one sinister entity that crawled along Jamie's skin. You are nothing without us. But as Jamie opened their eyes again, they gazed at the figures formed from their memories, the sneers of classmates, the dismissive laughter, the echoes of being overlooked. Anger ignited anew within them, burning brighter than the light they felt rising. I am not afraid, Jamie declared, and it felt like a tidal wave crashing against the dark. I will become everything you said I couldn't be. The ground beneath their feet shimmered, reacting to Jamie's resolute refusal. The altar throbbed harder, a response to their proclamation. The light surged outward, spilling like molten gold, scattering the shadows, forcing them back. Jamie and Sam stood in its center, bathed in illumination, a sanctuary forged from conviction. Jamie's focus sharpened, clarity slicing through confusion. It's not just fear, it's doubt, pain, everything I tried to hide. They screamed into the whirlpool of darkness. But I'll not be a victim. I'll turn it into strength. With every syllable, the glow intensified, washing over the clearing, enveloping their fears, transforming them. Dark faces contorted in agony as Jamie's light consumed the shadows, but deeper cries of salvation threaded through lost dreams, becoming wings. Light and shadow danced, battling for dominance. Keep pushing. Sam urged, his voice anchoring Jamie in the flood. You can do this. And then, in a moment electrifyingly still, Jamie locked eyes with the chief shadow at the forefront. It was a twisted reflection of themselves, a mirror that masked their deepest insecurities. Would they obliterate it? Or find a way to coexist? What do you want? Jamie whispered, stepping forward with a mixture of fear and hope. The darkness recoiled, trembling at the boldness of their challenge. It roared in frustration, morphing back for a moment before pausing, its voice finally dripping with something resembling understanding. I am what you fear, what you refuse to acknowledge. Power lies not in denial, but acceptance. A war raged in Jamie's mind. Did they dare embrace this part that mocked them? Would it empower them or chain them down further? Then the shadows surged again, and Jamie felt themselves being enveloped, sensations swirling as whispers of possibility tugged at their consciousness. They plunged deeper into the light within, letting it splash across their every doubt and fear. The altar erupted with radiant energy, illuminating both Jamie and Sam, forcing back the shadows and making the grotesque figures retreat. This is my choice. I will not be consumed. The pulse of energy vibrated through the clearing, and what happened next sent a shiver down Jamie's spine. The shadows screamed, reshaping, spinning before them into something new entirely. They felt different. Lighter. But also charged with a new edge, an edge they could wield. And then it happened. A figure emerged from the shadows, one that looked horrifyingly familiar and yet unrecognizable. Where do you think you're going? It smirked, all teeth and darkness, eyes glinting with malice. With every step it took, the chaos shifted and tore asunder, the lines between reality and what was possible blurring. The weight of Jamie's choice hung in the air, both freeing and suffocating. They had engaged with the darkness, but was this what they had invited in? As the creature's intent hovered heavily over them, Jamie felt both exhilarated and afraid. What awaited beyond this moment of transformation, beyond the altar and the shattered shadows? Their heart raced, not with fear but with a single question: had they truly harnessed a strength they'd only begun to understand, or had they awakened something much worse? Jamie's breath hitched as the figure stepped closer, its features becoming more distinct, sharp, cruel, and eerily familiar. The cocky grin, the dark eyes that once held a hint of kindness, now glowed with malicious glee. It was the shadow of everything they had ever feared about themselves. What do you want? Sam shouted, his voice cracking under the strain of terror. Want? The creature echoed, its tone laced with mockery. I want what you've denied for so long, Jamie. I'm your power, your untapped potential. I am the darkness you refuse to embrace. Fear coursed through Jamie, a pulse of adrenaline. You're a lie. You're not real. Oh, but I am, it countered, its voice dripping with confidence. You think you can banish me, but I dwell within you. How do you think I came to be? You gave me life through your insecurities. Jamie shook their head, desperation rising. I didn't ask for this. True, the creature sneered, but it's here, isn't it? You can either fight me and lose, or join me and unleash your true strength. In that moment, Jamie saw fragments of their life play out like a movie. Every moment they held back, every time they succumbed to doubt, every failure and heartbreak. The shadows twisted as memories clashed, each threatening to drown them in despair, but then, a flicker of rebellion sparked within. They had felt the light. They had fought against the darkness, hadn't they? I want to let you control me. The shadow's grin widened. Control? No, Jamie. I offer liberation. Acceptance. Together, we can reshape your reality. Tension coiled in the air as Jamie searched for Sam's reassuring presence. Sam, rooted in place, stared at the creature in dismay, confusion flickering across his face. Jamie had to believe in that light, in the warmth radiating from the altar beneath their feet. Then let's test your offer, Jamie challenged, summoning all the courage they could muster. Let us see if you are all that you claim. The creature's laughter echoed like thunderclaps as it approached. You dare? Very well, but beware, Jamie. This journey is not for the weak-hearted. With a rush of wind, the clearing warped around them. Swirling colors and shadows melded into a flat canvas that transformed the surroundings into a chaotic landscape, a labyrinth of Jamie's deepest fears, their darkest memories. Welcome to my realm, the shadowed figure proclaimed, its voice reverberating. Face your past, understand it, and then we shall see what power you truly hold. Jamie felt their heart race at the sight. There stood towering giants, exaggerated forms of their failures and the negativity that had stomped them down. A bleached crowd of faces formed from broken dreams and whispered insults stared back, waiting for their reckoning. Enough! Jamie shouted, and with that word, they pushed against the despair that threatened to consume them. The light at the altar ignited within, spreading warmth through their veins, colliding with the heaviness of the shadows. Each corner of the labyrinth throbbed with possibility. Jamie steeled themselves. I will reclaim my story. As Jamie stepped forward, intent on confronting each shadowy giant, a piercing screech sliced through the atmosphere. The creatures quaked in protest, the very ground trembling beneath Jamie's determination. They surged ahead, heart hammering, grappling with the tangled emotions, the rage, sadness, and the flickering hope that had almost been extinguished. I am more than my fears. Then, just as Jamie took a deep breath, channeling all their strength, they heard a voice whispering, low and sinister, from beyond the shadows. Do you really believe you can fight it all? The truth will shatter you. Jamie caught a glimpse of the shadows shifting, poised to attack. Did they dare press on or step back into the light? I will rise, Jamie shouted defiantly, feeling the electricity of their own voice, the pulse thrumming with newfound resilience. This time, I choose my own fate. But as they charged forward, doubt clawed at the edges of their consciousness. Would this be the moment of triumph, or would it all come crashing down around them? What lay beyond this intricate web of fears, they didn't know. But confronting what they had hid for so long was their only way out. And the shadows began to close in, their chilling whispers intertwining with Jamie's growing resolve. Would the light be enough to guide them through the storm, or was their fight just beginning? Jamie steadied their breath, the pulse of determination strengthening with each passing moment. The shadowy giants loomed, menacing and familiar. Yet Jamie felt heavier now, not with fear, but with a firm conviction. Every messy thought, every painful memory became fuel for the fire igniting inside them. With a shout, Jamie stepped forward, confronting the nearest giant. An ominous figure formed from the voices of classmates who once ridiculed their dreams. Its face twisted, and it lunged, a manifestation of every cruel word they had ever heard. You're nothing without us. It bellowed, as the ground shuddered beneath Jamie's feet. I am everything in spite of you. Jamie screamed, their heart racing. Channeling the warmth of the light, they thrust their hands out, pushing against the darkness. In that instant, a blinding beam erupted from their palms, striking the giant with a force that made it reel back. The shadows screeched, unfurling like smoke in the wind. Jamie! Sam's voice called out, grounding, anchoring them amidst the chaos. You got this. Keep going. Taking a moment, Jamie shifted focus to the other giants, the echoes of failure, doubt, and fear swirling around them. I want to let you define me. Jamie shouted, heart pounding louder than the growls of the nightmares surrounding them. I choose to rise. With each claim, they faced down another giant, another distorted memory, unleashing the light bubbling within, driven by every heartbeat as it pulsed brighter, transforming the shadows into flickers of ash. The chilling voices cried out in terror, swirling away like mist before the dawn. Jamie felt adrenaline course through them, a powerful wave washing over all doubt. They remembered every moment of laughter shared with Sam, every giggle under the stars, each dream they had held tight. These were the embers they needed to ignite, the connections that had shaped them through pain. As Jamie pushed against the darkness, the air crackled. The shadows shrieked and twisted, but Jamie pressed on, fueled by conviction. I embrace my power. I embrace my pain. You will not consume me. The shadows flickered, fading into the ground, disbanding like a wisp of smoke, but the colossal figure, an exaggerated version of their deepest fear, loomed behind it all, larger and darker than the rest. An amalgamation of every insecurity Jamie had ever known, it bore down with a single, accusing gaze. You are worthless. You can never escape me, it hissed, voice reverberating through Jamie's bones. No! Jamie shouted, the boundary of fear breaking. You are my past, but I want to let you dictate my future. With a swift motion, they braced themselves and thrust their hands forward, sending another surge of brilliant light. It washed over the giant, illuminating its dark tremors, turning its sneer into a gasp. Could they truly conquer this? Hope and dread intertwined, the line blurring with every heartbeat. Jamie's pulse raced louder, shoulders squared, they felt an immense weight shift, the energy around them crackling like electricity. In that moment, they understood, to confront the shadows meant embracing their truth, not as enemies, but as parts of their own journey toward acceptance. Who I am is built from every scar, every tear, and every flicker of light, Jamie shouted, every word becoming a declaration of defiance against the shadows. The colossal figure crumbled, shadows swirling violently, yet Jamie remained resolute. I will rise like the phoenix, not just to escape, but to thrive. With a final thrust, light erupted, brighter than the sun, blinding and dazzling. The shadows evaporated, scattering into the ether, their voices reduced to faint whispers harmonizing with the wind. Jamie stood amidst the remnants of unshackled fears, heart racing with newfound power, warmth flooding their limbs. As the clearing brightened, Jamie turned to Sam, who stood rigid with awe. You did it. Sam's voice echoed, relief cascading into joyous excitement. You faced them together, Jamie replied breathlessly. You were with me every step. Let us get out of here, Sam said, taking Jamie's hand. The altar pulsed beneath their feet, aglow with ethereal light. Jamie felt different, alive, empowered. They had not merely escaped their fears but transformed them into something beautiful. As they stepped back into the sunlight, the world shifted again. The forest slowly unraveled, fading into brilliant hues, revealing a pristine landscape. They stood at the precipice of a vast horizon, stretching infinitely before them, filled with opportunities, dreams, life. With hope swelling in their heart, Jamie turned back to Sam. We've just begun. The journey doesn't stop here. Sam grinned wide, a reflection of Jamie's own joy. Yeah, what's next for us? Together, they stood, faces to the shimmering skyline, a bond forged through shadows and light. Their hearts beat in synchrony, woven into the fabric of a new beginning, and as they took a step forward into the unknown, Jamie understood, Every moment carried the weight of possibility, each heartbeat echoed the truth they had learned. Not only was fear a part of them, but beneath it all lay strength waiting to be embraced. This was life. This was hope. And this was just the start. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss out on the next exclusive stories that will blow your mind. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this wild journey. Are you ready for more? Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. The adventure continues, and only true fans know how crucial these actions are to keep this amazing journey alive.